November 11th, 2023, 554 days ago is exactly when Tom Aspinall became interim champion, and he is now the longest reigning interim champion. In this video, I want to take another big fat steamy dump on Jon Jones, as I love to do on this channel, because some new recent videos of Jon Jones have surfaced and some updates from Dana White, and I have a potential reason / conspiracy on why I think the fight might have not been signed yet, and it might be out of Jones and Aspinall's control. I've heard this in my stream a couple times, so I want you guys to tell me what your opinion is on that. And if you guys enjoy these type of videos, please drop a like. But yeah, man, it's disappointing. Tom Aspinall has been clamoring for the Jon Jones fight, literally, obviously, since he became the interim champion. We're coming up on 2 years as interim champion. He's even went as far as to defend his interim title. And for whatever reason, the UFC has stripped Ilia Topuria or made him vacate his belt and move up to lightweight. They're making Islam vacate to move up to welterweight. But Jon Jones is allowed to drag the sport through the mud, fight an old man in Stipe, and not defend his title against the rightful champion in Tom Aspinall. Because let's be real, Tom Aspinall is pretty much the real heavyweight champion. Jon Jones has had 2 fights in the last 5 years. And as I said, man, in this video, I want to talk about why that might be. Now, if you guys haven't seen, Jon Jones has been filming The Ultimate Fighter for Russia, I believe, in Thailand. And he was on Instagram Live, you know, as Jon Jones does. He randomly goes on Instagram Live. You know, he loves the attention. He's a narcissist. He likes everybody to talk about him. But people were calling him a duck in chat. And this is what Jon Jones had to say about being called a duck.
I got people in the chat calling me a duck. Meanwhile, I'm living my absolute best life. I don't know if it's considered ducking when you're living good. I don't think it works like that.
Can somebody tell Jon Jones that what you do in your personal life and what you are as a UFC champion are 2 completely different things? Dude, who cares if you're living in Peaches and Creamville, getting Starbucks coffee every day and funneling guys in Thailand? That doesn't change the fact that you're a duck or not. Jon Jones is trying to say, dude, I'm living my best life, you know. I'm enjoying life. I'm in another country, you know. I'm filming The Ultimate Fighter. I'm having a good time. And you guys are calling me a duck. Yeah, guess what, Jon Jones? It doesn't matter what you're doing in another country. That doesn't change the circumstance that you're an absolute clown of a champion and an embarrassment. I hate that I have to be a fan of this sport and know that Jon Jones is the only United States champion right now. He is our representation for being the champion. And I've never been more embarrassed to say that, because this guy is referred to as the GOAT of the sport, right? And let me just say, he has to be the worst GOAT of all time. Like across all sports, right? I'd say Lance Armstrong is more commendable than Jon Jones. I mean, all the GOATs. Michael Jordan wasn't beating women and doing steroids and not facing top competition and taking years off of his career. Jon Jones has had 17 fights in the last 14 years. One of the most inactive fighters to ever grace the sport. This guy's dragged the UFC's name through the mud. He's tested positive multiple times. He's been a PR nightmare. He's literally a criminal. And for whatever reason, the UFC continues to show for this guy and allow him to hold the heavyweight belt. And I don't know if this is just because Dana White and the UFC are so desperate to have a Michael Jordan of the UFC. They want to have the greatest fighter ever. They want to say that Jon Jones is better than Ngannou. Or I don't know, like, if Jon Jones has some kind of dirt on Dana White. Does Jon Jones have a video of Dana White, like, doing some not safe for work stuff on camera? There's got to be something, because Jon Jones has the most Dana White privilege or UFC privilege out of any fighter across the history of the sport. They've literally moved entire events for this guy across from Las Vegas to California because he was pulsing picograms in his system. They had to move an entire event for Jon Jones just so he can fight, because he was blasting steroids out of his ass. I mean, let's be real. I don't know about you guys, but I'm burnt out. I know I'm making a video on it, so it sounds kind of silly to say, but I am burnt out on the whole Jones-Aspinall fight. If it never happened, I wouldn't even care at this point. Just vacate the belt, dude. If you don't want to fight Tom Aspinall, that's fine, dude. Vacate the belt. Let Tom fight for the vacant belt or become undisputed champion and defend it against Cyril Gane, Jelton Almeida, and whoever else is coming up. Stop holding up the division. Stop being the narcissist, even though that's what you are, so I guess you have no control over that. But Jon Jones, the reason he's holding on to the belt, first of all, is because he knows he can, and the UFC is not going to do anything about it. And Jon Jones just loves whenever people are talking about him. Like I said, he's a narcissist, so he loves when he can just sit around all day and people are like, dude, Jon Jones a duck. He feeds off of that. And then he copes by going on Instagram Live and saying, guys, I'm living my best life. How can I be a duck when I'm living my best life? Well, guys, let me tell you how you can be a duck while living your best life. By not fighting your interim champion of almost 2 years, you absolute clown. But there's another reason that Jon Jones might not be fighting Tom Aspinall. Maybe it's because he likes pulling other men's hair. Maybe Jon Jones is just getting a little freaky over there in Thailand. I don't know if you guys have seen, but Jon Jones, first of all, if you look at his eyes in this clip, it looks like he's not there. Like, this man has left his body. It's Jon Jones' soul is gone in this picture. That is a man that has left his body and doesn't know what he's doing. But Jon Jones is in his best, like, he's in his comfort zone right here. You know, he's on the back of a motorcycle with a guy. We know Jon Jones loves guys, and he loves a lot of things with guys, especially pulling the hair. And if you don't believe me, let's just have a look at that.
Залік уже взяв свою команду Джонса.
Все, он в моей команде. My team has global.
So as you can see, Jon Jones, you know, he gets a bit freaky in the streets of Thailand. He just loves to just pull men's hair. You know, that's the way Jon Jones rolls. Ignore the fact that this guy has a fiance and 3 children. That doesn't matter. You know, he's too busy pulling other guys' hair in Thailand and talking about how he's living his best life, guys. This is why Jon Jones doesn't need to fight Aspinall. He's not a duck, guys. He's just living his best life, dude. He's in his element, man. Jon Jones is a closeted gay man. There's no doubt in my entire mind. We might even be okay to go as far as to say he's not even closeted anymore. He makes it pretty obvious that he's into men, which I personally don't have a problem with, but just come out and say it, dude. He beats women. He seems to always be talking about doing something to other guys at comedy clubs or now pulling guys' hair. Jon Jones doesn't like women because he's so mad at the fact that he's attracted to men, and that's why he incites violence on women, and that's never been more clear. This guy likes men, and that's fine. Just admit it, bro. Just admit that you enjoy the meat, you know? Some of us can't control it, and you're just one of the guys that can't control it. But nonetheless, as I said, Jon Jones is living his best life in Thailand, getting freaky with the men over there, as he likes to do, and Tom Aspinall is just sitting there. Tom Aspinall has become a full-time YouTuber at this point. This guy has literally come on YouTube and is dropping shorts every day because he's just waiting on a fight, training. And Tom Aspinall is damn near retired at this point. This guy hasn't fought in 10 months, defending his UFC title versus Curtis Blades, defending his title, and just waiting on a Jon Jones fight. And it sucks, man, because Tom Aspinall is already 32 years old. I know heavyweights go longer in their career, but man, imagine if Jon Jones wasn't around. Tom Aspinall could probably have 5, 6 title defenses. This guy could be building a resume as the greatest fighter of all time. And a lot of people like to come for me when I make these videos saying, dude, why are you going after Jon Jones? He's literally from America. He's the American fighter. Shouldn't you be rooting for him? No, I'm not going to root for a guy simply because he's from the same country as me. Whenever he's an absolute scumbag, scum of the earth, he's a shitty champion. He's a shitty person. He's a terrible father to his children. He's a terrible husband or fiance to his wife, or whatever you want to call it. He's just not a good person. And I'm not going to be a guy that sits out here and be like, yeah, dude, Jon Jones from the USA. Go Jones, man. He did the Trump dance, dude. He fought Stipe, man. No, fuck that. Jon Jones is an absolute garbage can, and I'm not going to pretend like he's not. And I can't wait to see the comments in this video saying, dude, another Jones video. You're just desperate. Like, all you do, Jones is rent-free in you guys' head. Maybe he is, you know, and that's fine. If you want to call me roasting a guy for being gay and not defending his UFC title being rent-free in my head, then I guess Jon Jones is living cozy up there. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, man, these videos came out and surfaced about Jon Jones, and I wasn't surprised at all. You know, first of all, I didn't know he was in Thailand filming some kind of reality show for the UFC. I didn't know that, but you best believe Jon Jones has all of his over there and all the alcohol he can use, and yeah, he's got men at his disposal, so I'm sure he's living it up in the hotel rooms of Thailand. But a good thing that came out about Jon Jones is that UFC fighters are actually finally starting to come around about him getting stripped. Curtis Blades came out and said Jon Jones should be stripped. End of discussion. And then Paddy Pimblett came out and said, I didn't think the UFC would make Islam vacate, but if you're making Islam vacate, Jon Jones needs to be stripped. And I couldn't agree more. If Islam Makhachev, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, on a 15-fight win streak, has to vacate his title and not be able to become undisputed champion in 2 weight classes simultaneously, then why are we allowing Jon Jones to hold the heavyweight division hostage and make a mockery of the sport. Why is that allowed? But Tom Aspinall has to vacate his belt. I mean, Islam Makhachev has to vacate his belt, but Jon Jones just allowed to sit cozy on the belt. Mind you, this, like I said, this guy's had 2 fights since 2020. He fought in March of 2023 and he fought in November of 2024. And now we're in May. There's no fight signed because you already know once Jon Jones signs to fight Tom Aspinall, it's probably going to be a year from now before they fight at this point. Jon Jones is going to be damn near a geriatric by the time him and Aspinall fight, which is like, I honestly think this is worse for Jon Jones. I don't think he will fight Tom, but let me just say, the longer he waits out and the slower and older he gets, it's just going to make it even easier for Tom Aspinall because I think Aspinall is going to sleep him inside a round. And yeah, man, Jon Jones is creeping up on age 38. Those steroids can only take you so far when you're getting to that age. So yeah, I do think if they fight, Tom Aspinall will absolutely smoke Jon Jones. And if you don't agree, then debate me in the comments because I'm going to stand up for what's right. And what's right is Tom Aspinall fighting for the undisputed belt or Jon Jones being stripped and Aspinall being promoted to undisputed champ, which is what he deserves, man. Us fans are sick of it. Every time Dana White comes on his little corny ass Instagram videos and he's talking about Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones, he doesn't even want to mention Aspinall's name. Like, Dana White does not even like mentioning Aspinall's name. He cringes at the idea of Jon Jones, his little Pookie bear, Jon Jones, having to fight Tom Aspinall. And here's a clip proving this. Watch how uncomfortable Dana White gets in his Instagram live when the fans are asking about Jones Aspinall. Just have a listen.
Tom Aspinall, I didn't read it. I told you guys already, we'll get Aspinall versus Jones done. Jon Jones versus...
Look at this.
The heavyweight fight will happen. Just relax. I'll announce that soon. Tom Aspinall.
The heavyweight fight will happen. Just relax. I'll announce that soon. He's so visibly uncomfortable to even talk about the idea of Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. If you guys have known this whole saga, Dana White has notoriously like not wanted to say Tom Aspinall's name like in the media. Like, he almost cringes when he says Tom Aspinall. I don't know what it is, if Tom Aspinall banged Dana White's wife or something, but Dana White just doesn't like talking about Tom Aspinall because he knows that's anytime you talk about Tom Aspinall, it makes Jon Jones look bad. So maybe that's why. But yeah, man, it's almost funny how visibly uncomfortable Dana White gets anytime Jones Aspinall gets mentioned. He's like, yeah, man. He could even say the Aspinall Jones fight. He said the heavyweight fight will get done, guys. Just relax. We'll announce it soon. And we've been hearing Dana White talking about announcing Jones Aspinall this entire year. I mean, he was yapping about it in January and even December, saying that the fight's going to happen, saying that if Jones beats Stipe, that he wouldn't just ride off. He would want to fight Tom Aspinall and that the fight would be done. Then in January, like I said, he said the same thing. And now we're in May, almost in June. We're halfway through the year, and Dana White's still yapping on Instagram about how the fight's going to be done. First of all, this is the UFC's fault. The fact that Jon Jones is doing what he's doing is 100% the UFC fault. He should not be allowed to just stall the entire heavyweight division. The heavyweight division's never been worse than it is. It's been stagnant because it has an inactive champion and it's full of blobs. Whereas if you had Tom Aspinall just beating everybody's ass and racking up title defenses, heavyweight would actually be exciting. Tom Aspinall would be an active champion. This guy would be defending every 3 to 4 months. And I think he smokes everybody at heavyweight. So give us the entertainment value we need. I don't even care about a Jones Aspinall fight. And if you still do, tell me why. Like, we've been yapping about this fight since Aspinall became interim champ back in 2023, man. It is now May of 2025, a year and a half later, 544 days. And we still do not have an official date for Jones Aspinall. Now, a lot of people are speculating that Jon Jones and the UFC may be waiting to that MSG card for November, because if you look at the current landscape of the UFC, right? Next month we have Merab versus Sean O'Malley rematch, right? Then after that we have Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira at UFC 317. Then at UFC 318 we have Poirier, Max Holloway for the BMF belt. UFC 319 is going to be DDP versus Hamzat. UFC 320 is in Mexico, so obviously they're not going to do a Jon Jones fight in Mexico. And then UFC in October is in Abu Dhabi. I believe they did a pay-per-view in Abu Dhabi. November is the MSG card, and we know Jon Jones likes to fight in MSG, so maybe that's what Jon Jones is stalling out for. I don't know. I also have another conspiracy theory / like maybe reason the UFC has not signed Jones versus Aspinall, and it could be Because if you guys don't know, the UFC and ESPN's broadcast deal ended this year. So I think they have to run the UFC on ESPN Plus at the end of the year. But the broadcast deal is over, right? It ended this year. It was from 2018 to 2025. They had a 7-year deal with ESPN. And maybe they're waiting to announce the Jones Aspinall fight to leverage a new broadcast deal. This has been brought up to me in multiple streams and in my comment sections. People are saying, hey, man, you guys are clowns for even speculating why this fight's not happening. The UFC is clearly waiting on to sign a new broadcast deal, and they're going to use the Jones Aspinall fight to leverage a new deal, saying, hey, like, you guys need to give us more money. We have the biggest UFC fight in history, Jones Aspinall, on the horizon, so we need a big bonus for our broadcast deal. That could 100% be what it is. You know, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist. I don't have my tinfoil hat at all times on, but a lot of people speculate that this could be the reason why the UFC has not announced the fight and why they've kind of been hush-hush about it. Jon Jones hasn't really said anything about the fight. He just talks about being a duck. Tom Aspinall just seems to be left in the dark, pissed off on him and his dad, pissed off on his YouTube channel, just saying he's tired of waiting. He just wants to move on. Dana White refuses to say his name and seems to be hush-hush about the whole thing and visibly uncomfortable when he talks about it. So maybe this is it. Maybe the UFC is holding out for a new broadcast deal so they can leverage a higher payout from the broadcast partner they come out with. They can leverage a higher payout because they have the Jones Aspinall fight on the table. Maybe that's what it is. Whereas if they announced it now and it was still under ESPN Plus, then they wouldn't be able to leverage that and they would get less money. I don't know. It seems like it could be a possibility, but nonetheless, I still think Jon Jones is an absolute coward because he should have fought Tom Aspinall at the beginning of this year and not wait an entire year. This guy's fought an average of 1 time per year the last 15 years in the UFC. It's embarrassing. And yeah, man, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of talking about Jones Aspinall. Like I said, I know I'm making an entire video talking about it, but I'm sick of discussing it. I'm sick of seeing poor Aspinall just waiting for his title fight. I'm sick of the Jon Jones dick riders in the comments saying, dude, you're just jealous because another grown man, dude. Jon Jones lives rent free in you guys' head all day long. Like, you're just mad because he's a champ. Like, oh yeah, dude. I'm so mad that a guy won't defend his title and you know, actually hold the integrity of the sport, and the UFC allows him to do it. But that's pretty much it, guys. I wanted to get on here and kind of roast Jon Jones as I do and speculate on why the fight is happening or not happening for that matter. And yeah, man, I'm sure just like me, you guys are fed up with waiting. You're fed up with hearing about Jones Aspinall. We're all burnt out on the topic. This will probably be the last video I make on it until like the fight's officially announced, because I'm so tired of talking about Jones Aspinall. It's like beating a dead horse at this point. But nonetheless, leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree or disagree with me? Am I just a hater? Or is Tom Aspinall being the longest reigning interim champion the most embarrassing thing in the history of the company because their coward of a champion is busy pulling gay ass man's hair in Thailand? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm out. Peace.